is for Apple? How about F for Fake? Directed and narrated by Orson Welles, the film F for Fake details the lives of art forger Elmire de Horry and novelist Clifford Irving, both infamous for living their lives as fakers. This video is going to discuss the line between fiction and nonfiction, and how this film walks that line as related to authority. Specifically, we're going to examine how authority is more of a mental construct than a tangible, real thing because of how it balances that line. So to get started, let's take a look at this clip.
Called experts,
Experts are the new oracles.
who are greatly pretentious,
They speak to us with the absolute authority of the computer.
pretend to know something, what they only know very superficially.
And we bow down before them. They're God's own gift to the faker.
Orson Welles describes the experts as, quote, speaking to us with the authority of a computer, end quote. Think about it. In the 21st century, we have been given the great gift of the computer and the internet, both of which we place our most absolute trust in. The internet provides us with hundreds of sources that give us detailed answers to all of our questions. But are these sources experts? Are they reliable to give us correct information? Why do we trust these sources? When you think about a computer, it was created to deliver information to us and help us in our delivery of information. But with all things in the world, computers are flawed. They are bound to crash and fail us in a multitude of other ways, and the same can be said for experts. Like computers, they are flawed, and like the internet, these flaws make for an unreliable source. Now, they may have the credentials behind their name, but what does that even mean? They were imbued with authority and power because they took classes and tend to know more on the subject than most of the population. But how does that make them an expert? Really, this title is given to them because, as a culture, we see value in having knowledge. Therefore, we put power in a place, or rather a person, when in reality, power doesn't exist outside of what we give it to. A great example would be the President of the United States. The man who holds this position was given power many years ago by men who were determined to create an organized society. And today, by continuing to believe in that system, we imbue the president with power, when in reality, without it being given to him in the first place, there would be no authority whatsoever. So to bring this back to walking that fine line between fiction and nonfiction, reality and not, authority is a real thing because we make it a real thing. Otherwise, it does not exist. We create authority and we create power. It is real to us and only us. But when you take a step back and question it for what it really is, it does not exist. And in essence, it is fake. This truth can further be found in how Orson Welles crafts the entire film. Take a look at these shots from the previous scene. Both are framed extremely tight on Horry and Irving, meaning they cut off the subject's head here at the top, and there's not an extensive amount of lead room for the subject to talk into. These shots are framed so tight that you cannot see the full picture of the environment around them. In a movie, you are only going to be shown what a director wants you to see. Orson Welles created a story discussing how authority walks that line between fiction and nonfiction by having the movie itself walk that line. The wider a shot, the more that a created reality will be shown to the viewer. But again, what is seen on the screen is created by a director who can skew the images together to tell a story. So how can we trust the director? What makes him a reliable source? In this film, we know indefinitely that Welles is not, because he tells us so at the end of the film.
That for 1 hour, I tell you only the truth. That hour, ladies and gentlemen, is over. For the past 17 minutes, I've been lying my head off.
Welles says he did not lie for the first hour. But how do we as viewers know that? He lied to us for 17 minutes for sure. He could have easily lied for the rest of that time. At the beginning of the film, the viewer is supposed to trust the director as he takes the viewer on a journey. And by trusting the director, viewers give him authority and power. But for what reason? But by watching a movie and viewers suspending their disbelief, they place their trust and therefore authority and power into the director. This power viewers give to the director, though, is again only a mental construct and not something that actually exists. There is nothing, not even made-up credentials, that tell viewers to trust the director. There is just trust given through the mental permission for the director to take the viewer on a journey. So to wrap this up, F for Fake looks at experts as the perfect example of how authority is fake, because it is real to the human race, but not to anyone or anything outside of that, walking that line between fiction and nonfiction. It can be seen in specific scenes and how the movie is crafted as a whole by Orson Welles. And if you're wondering whether I'm a reliable source and you should place your trust and authority in me as an expert on this topic, I would encourage you to check out the film F for Fake.